Hey guys, sorry we're late because Ken just popped in. We were discussing the ramifications of Alec breaking into Donnie's car and leaving Arizona summer behind.
It's been a while since I fingerprinted a car.
But Alec seemed on Discord to want to point out that he's in Arizona too, so I think he's trying to take the blame.
Oh, well, that makes my job easier then.
Yeah. Okay, so last week we left off on putting the ribs in here. And so let me pop them out. And this is absolutely the last thing I got done on this. By the way, how noisy is my AC?
No, it sounds fine to me.
Okay.
I don't know. The rest of the audience?
Because, well, it's still 82 in here. And Andrea said, yeah, go ahead, run it, even though we're paying 29 cents a kilowatt hour.
Oof.
Yeah. Well, I did look up on the online about the AC. The little AC unit that I have is 1,000 watts. So if I run it an hour, it's going to cost me 29 cents.
That's not bad.
No.
Just take the money out of the out of my pay that I get.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, what's funny is they sent us another message, third day in a row that we've gotten messages from Ameren for a high price alert.
Oh.
And oh yeah. Well, let's see. Today the highest price was 31.2. Yesterday it was 30. Tomorrow, I don't know if we can afford this, 13.6 cents per kilowatt hour.
Ooh, turn on everything.
Yes. Which Ameren, our local electric company, and Illinois is the first time I've dealt with having one company owns the power lines, but I can get power from multiple companies.
Oh.
That doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. Yeah, Ameren is the owner of the power lines, the distribution agent, but there's multiple companies in the local area, and what is it? We have, I forget what it's called. Hey, Jody. Aggregate. We have a aggregate through our town to go through Home Sense or something like that. It's weird how it works, but we got got text messages from Ameren that electricity is going to be going up during the summer because of the grid and blah 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 blah. And then turns out we're under this other one anyway, so it's hurt my head.
Well, it sounds like some cell phone companies where they just buy minutes off of other providers that actually have the towers.
Yeah, well, I will tell you what if nothing else, that circus for the electric companies is what will drive me to solar.
Yeah.
I'm not against solar. I'm just against the huge surprise payment at the end of the year that I always hear about. I figured before I get going, so I mentioned last week to Dawn that I should just put a piece of tape on here because it's two separate pieces before I try and bend this.
Yeah.
So there's the tape. I'm just going to paint over top of it. It's the darkest tape I have. So we'll see what that does.
Right on.
Actually, let's see who all is here.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Ken is here. Dawn is here. I was second.
Looks like you're dripping water onto your bench.
Huh? What?
Your water bowl thing there is dripping water onto your bench.
This?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's overflowing onto your bench.
You're right, but there's the problem. it wasn't all the way down. Of course, this is going to make. Oh no, I don't have to go past him. So I was going to say it's going to get Marley to get up and move, but no.
Is that just for humidity, or what is that?
No, this is my brush washing station.
Okay. That's at a weird angle for us, so I couldn't really tell what it was.
Yeah, well, it leaks some, but not a whole lot. And it's all underneath it, so no big deal. And I was in here today working on the Moomin house.
Nice.
Figuring out how to wire that thing up. Matter of fact, kind of looks like I have termites in the Moomin house.
Ooh, kind of does.
Yeah, but that's the best way to do it because I got to run the power between the two floors.
Actually, I was talking to Todd today on Discord, and he was helping me with some lighting. I got all my lights in my nacelles for the Reliant all switched over. They're all 5-volt now. So, and then
Cool.
yeah, so it all works well.
The lighting for the Moomin house is set up for, well, according to the LEDs that I'm putting in there, they're micro SMDs that are already pre-wired, but not with the resistor because they give you 3 sets of resistors so you can decide what you're wiring it at. And according to the resistors, they are set for 9 to 14 volts, which means if I run them at 14 volts, they're going to wear out fast. And if I run them at 9, they'll last forever.
Okay.
There's no way you can have, well, I'm not going to say there's no way, but you shouldn't have that wide of a spread on your resistors.
Right. Let's see here. Alec is here. He's at work.
Wait, he broke into Donnie's car while he was at work?
Apparently. Donnie's here.
Hey, Donnie.
Steven's here. Of course, Keith was here. And Dawn. I see you too.
Let me see. There is a
And
message
here.
I am. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you, Jody. I got to show this. In Discord, no, not me, wrong button. In Discord, Jody has posted a picture.
Okay.
I like that a lot. Thank you very much, Jody. Oh, I didn't even catch that. You see right here? Actually. Oh, wait. I hit the wrong button. Ah!
You
There.
talking about her badge?
Yes.
Yeah.
Her badge right there. That's cool.
And you have double logos up.
I do. Hang on. Sometimes I catch it. Sometimes I don't.
Oh, hi, Trent. Trent is here.
Hey, Trent. Okay. So, trying to get back on track.
So you got your roof painted now on the inside.
Yep. And in case we get that far, I've got the wheels, and there's a lot of complicated instructions to the wheels. The one thing I do know about the wheels so far is, they don't really tell you in the instructions, but there are different sides. One side of the wheel hub has a hubcap on it.
Oh.
And the way you can tell is because it's smaller.
Yes, it's got a little, I was going to say tapered, but it's not really tapered. It's a step down little area.
But yeah, they say to use cardboard and mark lines and do this and do that. And I'm like, okay, I'll try. Oops.
Jody says, "You're welcome, Buck. I'm glad you like it."
I think it's awesome.
You look good there.
She did. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything besides Star Trek, though.
I think that is an episode of Star Trek.
It is.
Yeah.
It's on the holodeck.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've seen her on anything else. Maybe as a guest star on something. Now I'm going to have to look on IMDb.
See how I am? Make you think. So getting back to this, it actually fits very nicely all the way across. So what they want you to do is to glue these outside of the wagon. Yeah, it's
I'm just looking here. There's a bunch of movies I've never really heard of.
Not seen, never heard of.
Yes. Well, she was on an episode of Orville. I remember that. As the teacher.
That's what I think is funny, is that there are people who don't like the Orville. They're like, no, it's not Star Trek, blah, blah, blah. And so many stars from Star Trek have been on the Orville.
Yes.
And what's his name? Seth MacFarlane
was an Enterprise.
Huh?
And he was an Enterprise.
He was. But he's a huge Star Trek fan as well.
Yes,
he actually planned it as being a kind of a spin-off Star Trek style show.
Yeah. She's actually, I'm just looking. She's been in a lot of movies, but I don't think any of them as like a star. Just like,
yeah.
Anyway, sorry about that. You were saying about Seth MacFarlane?
Just that he's a huge Star Trek fan.
Yes.
And I really think he planned the Orville as being not really, obviously it can't be Trek, or it can't be Trek canon, but he planned it as being, an homage.
Yeah, an homage to it. And, it started off more comedy, and then it started to get more serious.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice to see. Oh, I see a puppy tail and some puppy feet now.
Oh, yep. That is one of his favorite places. Well, it's too hot for him to lay on the pillow that I've got for him, the dog bed. But it's also, he wants to be in here.
He likes hanging around with you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he is definitely my dog. If I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, he comes with me.
Nice. Stephen Kessel is here. He says, "Model on, everyone."
Howdy. Welcome. It is kind of funny, too, because I don't know how many dogs you've owned, Ken, but if you've owned any amount of dogs, you know that dogs, especially if you get an adult dog, they will test their boundaries. They want to figure out what their limits are. And was it last night? Yeah, it was last night. He decided, I want to find out what my limits are. And because he gets around 9-10 o'clock every night, he gets really excited and wants to play and all this. And he's jumping on the bed and all that, and jumping on Andrea and jumping on me, and which is okay for the most part, but he's biting hard And he got in trouble and got kicked out of the bed last night. And he's like, no, I'm coming up. And, we went back and forth for a couple of times. And then he finally figured out, Dad's not kidding.
I've only had 2 dogs, German Shepherds, both female, and 10 months apart in age.
Shepherds are really good dogs, and they're really bright.
Yeah, my girls were awesome.
And, well, it's amazing how bright he is, too, because he has decided today, we've called him Marley since we got him. And he decided today to start really listening to it. And so that he's decided, okay, I'll take the name you're giving me. Because they had named him at the pound Sully. And neither Andrea or I were really impressed with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Donnie says, get used to a buck. When a pit bull gets attached to you, your privacy no longer exists.
Oh, I know. I used to laugh at Andrea because, the old, the meme about, either cats or dogs, that you will never pee alone again.
Yeah.
I will never pee alone again.
Yeah. Well, even once I was living by myself and I had the 2 dogs. A lot of times I would shower and I'd have the bathroom door open and the fan going just to keep the steam down. And the next thing you know, you'd have a dog's head poking into the shower behind the shower curtain just to see what you're up to.
You still in there, Dad? Can I take a shower?
They'd never come in, thank goodness. But yeah.
The dogs never come into the shower with me. Of course, we have a door instead of a curtain. But they all...
like a sliding sideways door.
Yep.
Yeah.
They all will come in and hang out occasionally. Well, not all of them. Oliver and now Marley will hang out. Oliver will always hang out with Andrea.
Yeah. Every time I'd get out of the shower, Zoe would be sitting there on the just by the sink or whatever, waiting for me to come out of the shower.
Tell you how much water you spent.
Yep, exactly.
Water's expensive, Dad. You were in there a long time.
You could have used that on the sprinkler for me to play with. Okay, so Alex says, so Star Trek kind of went the way of Orville show, Ken? ? I remember it was originally supposed to be just absolutely silly, and as it progressed, it became serious too.
Star Trek was always made to be serious.
Yeah, they'd always have, like going back to TOS and stuff too, like you'd always see those funny little moments, but yeah, in general.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like, everybody pretty much knows that the Cage is the reworked original pilot.
Yes.
But like with the actual pilot with Kirk instead of Pike.
Yep.
Was the one with the salt monster. Forget the name of the episode.
The salt vampire?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that was disguised for the most part, spent most of the episode disguised as McCoy's former love.
Yes. Let's see here.
I think I have to make if he's here, Eric happy. Must clam. One keeps popping down.
Alex says he has 3 dogs currently. The first 2 I've ever owned were German Shepherd Beagle mix and a Border Collie Shepherd mix. Loves all 3 currently, and love both of them so much, and I can relate to the cats. He says he should arrest his cats for peeping.
Donnie and Jody are both correct. The man trap.
There you go. And Alex said, sorry, he meant the comedy stuff was more Lower Decks, not Star Trek in general.
Lower Decks, what I've watched of it wasn't bad.
I have yet to watch a single episode of it. I will do so at some point, for sure. Did you try watching those episodes of Murderbot?
I did not. I've been watching Reacher.
Okay. I've seen a little bit of Reacher. I need to watch more of it. That guy's does a good job of being Reacher.
Oh yeah. He's like a mountain.
Well, and that's how the character was originally written.
Yes.
But Tom Cruise wanted to play Reacher, and anyway, he's got a little bit of pull, I would say.
He's got a little bit of pull, but he's not near tall enough.
No,
he's like, I don't know, foot and a half too short, because Tom Cruise is only around 5 foot.
Yeah.
Although I do have to say, one thing that Tom Cruise does that is really cool is he does most of his own stunts.
Yes. Yeah.
Matter of fact, in not Rogue Nation, the one before that, the Mission Impossible before Rogue Nation. I forget what the name of it was, but where he fell off of the out of the helicopter and landed on that bag.
Okay.
The actors he did that stunt on his own. The actors in the helicopter did not know that he was going to do the stunt himself. They didn't know the stunt was coming. And so it's funny. You see them in an interview and they're like, we just lost Tom. They thought he had actually fallen.
Ooh.
Oh, yay. Water.
And I know there was that one where he was jumping from rooftop to rooftop and he broke his foot.
Yep. And continued until the take was over.
Yep. Yeah, some actors are amazing.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, he's come a long way since dancing around in his underwear.
Yes. I'm trying to think of what's his name there. Oh, it was in Django Unchained there. Cut his hand.
Okay. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Like he actually broke that glass and with his hand, and then he was really bleeding, but he kept his scene going.
Yeah, he was not supposed to break the glass.
No.
And the thing is, I know that they didn't actually do the take with him bleeding all over her, but after he cut his hand, they came up with the idea for the part where he's wiping his hand all over the lady's face.
Yes.
And I will tell you, I will not hold the Church of Scientology against Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Not a fan of that of the church, but whatever.
Well,
that's
against John Travolta.
Yeah, it's their thing. Whatever.
Yep.
Speaking of actors doing things unscripted, I was thinking that made me think of Kurt Russell in that Western where he breaks the guitar.
Oh yes. What is it? Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight. That was a great movie.
Yes, and it's what is her name? Dahmergoop. I forget the actress's name, but Dahmergoop. Her reaction there was real.
Yes, because she knew that was an antique guitar.
It was $140,000 guitar.
Yeah, it was supposed to be swapped out for a prop one that he was supposed to smash.
Yep.
And he thought he had the prop one. Whoops.
It's funny too because Kurt Russell, way back when, in the 60s, was the Disney kid in all the movies.
Yeah. The Computer War Sneakers.
That one, Flubber. He was in Flubber.
Was he? Okay.
He was in, not the original, but actually he was, no, Flubber, if I remember right, was Jerry Lewis first time. And then it was Kurt Russell. And then, what is it? Robin Williams.
So I remember Flubber having the guy that was also the driver of Herbie.
Buddy Hackett?
Is that who it was?
Yep.
Okay.
I think Kurt Russell. I think he was. Or no, but you're right. It wasn't Buddy Hackett. It was the other guy, Tom Jones, I think.
Yeah, there was also Son of Flubber in 1962.
Yeah, the original Flubber wasn't called Flubber. It was Absent-Minded Professor. That was Jerry Lewis.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Jody said, I thought Lower Decks was great fun. If you enjoy it for what it is, a funny cartoon about Star Trek. There are lots of laughs. That's Jody saying that.
Yeah. Lower Decks was never supposed to be a serious Star Trek. But it did become a serious Star Trek when they did crossovers.
Trent says, Kurt Russell edition for Han Solo.
That would have been a completely different Han Solo. So right now, I am working on the front floor where the driver. Yeah, this should be where the driver sits, or below where the driver sits. And way back on the first, way back, I say, what is this? The third stage or third week? But when I found this part broken,
yeah, and
Don said, "Yeah, it's not a big deal." Yeah, this part is actually part of that.
Stephen Kessel says, question, what year did this model come out in? I remember seeing the kit in the 60s. Thanks, model on.
This one, where is it? There it is. This one came out, I originally saw this model on Model Expo. I thought it showed up in 2023, but I just happened to have the box right here. And it came out in 2021.
But was there an older version of it from the 60s?
Know. It's possible. It's very likely. I don't know if it was as a model, but I'm sure it was in a movie or two. And I believe that Alec is referencing in Flubber where Robin Williams actually accidentally swallows a piece of flubber. You know what flubber was? It was the beginning of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Remember from the Ghostbusters movies? The little marshmallow men?
Yes, that's right.
And I made a purchase today because I keep getting all this little sawdust from working on wooden models. I bought a mini vacuum for the bench.
Oh, like the same one Todd and Ian got?
I was looking at that one and then kind of looked around and I was like, hey, there's one that's got 4.6 stars and it's on sale today for $29.
Nice.
So guess which one I bought?
There you go. The actor that played the professor in The Absent-Minded Professor was Fred McMurray.
Ah. My Three Sons. He was the dad. I believe.
Yeah. Let's see here. What was he best known for? Double Indemnity, The Apartments, Swing High, Swing Low, The Cane Mutiny. Those are the kind of ones he was known for.
I thought he was the dad in My Three Sons.
Yes. My Three Sons, Absent-Minded Professor, Son of Flubber.
Alex said they made a second Flubber movie. I only know the original. No, Alec, you only know the remake.
Yes. There was the Absent-Minded Professor in 1961. Then there was the Son of Flubber in, what did I say it was, 64?
Something like that.
Yeah, so...
In 61 was, that was Jerry Lewis, wasn't it?
No, that's the father there, the Fred McMurray.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep thinking it was Jerry Lewis.
I'm not too sure.
Nutty Professor, that's why.
There we go. Yeah, I remember watching a lot of those movies at my grandparents' house. They always had a lot of movies for us kids while the adults were off playing cards and stuff.
Okay. So this goes on here like this. Wait. Oh, okay. They could have made this a little harder.
You could be using nails.
Yeah, it could be.
Donnie was showing that kid off to me yesterday. It's got nails in it.
The rocket.
Yes.
That is a fun little kit. Okay, so this is going to go on like this, which means I'm going to sit here for several minutes holding these together. Yay!
So what part of the model is that?
This is, let's see, the front frame floor. Okay, yeah. Where this is going to go, let me make sure I'm looking at this right. Yeah, this is going to go right here.
Okay, and then the little bench above it for the driver and his co-driver or whatever.
Yeah, these here, the box will actually be up towards the top, and these braces here are underneath.
Okay.
This is where it gets interesting. It's a good word.
Well, good thing you got some 1, 2, 3 blocks to help you out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to get easier. By the way, when I looked at this part, I did realize that it could have been really bad if I didn't have the 1/8 inch strip that I do have. When I screwed up those other strips.
Oh, yeah, right.
Because I need 1/8 inch strip. So I'm going to use the little pieces first, and when I get to the point that I have to have larger pieces, that's when I will use the bigger pieces that I already have.
Okay.
Because it's different kinds of wood. This is basswood.
Right.
This is balsa. Basswood is a little bit stronger, harder than the balsa. So let's see. So the front wall is going to go on here. The nail pattern out. Okay, I see how.
Yeah, balsa wood is almost, it feels like it's almost one step away from styrofoam.
And it's a step away from paper.
Yeah.
That's also why I use wood glue. Because wood glue will grab pretty quick on any kind of wood, balsa or other. So here we're going to put this on here like this, and hopefully be able to keep all the edge completely lined up all the way down.
Right.
Come on. Don did mention that this is interesting is a good word, step.
I do remember that. I think he told us that in the first episode of this build.
Yep. That should be lined up. Okay, that's lined up. Now I can do nothing for a few minutes.
Just stand there and sit there and hold it.
Yep. I can look at this and make sure. Nice. This front piece here
Right.
is too wide.
Oh, is it supposed to be though?
It looks like it's supposed to be a perfect box.
Okay.
God, I love wood glue. Uh-oh. Donnie's printing more stuff.
Yeah, he says, and the next batch of parts is going to the printer now, Buck, for your kit.
Actually, if I line it up, okay. It should fit. It should work out. Very cool, Donnie. I am looking forward to it.
And I saw your comment on my video today, Donnie. I appreciate that. I'll let you know if I need more of those little light cups for better lack of better termage.
Speaking of videos that I watched today, I cannot wait to see Wayne's next video on the Falcon.
Oh?
Yeah. I was watching, and I watched him put the differential, the rear axle and the differential on. And he says, yeah, it goes on here like this. We put this screw in here, and we put this screw in here. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't think this is a rear engine car.
No, it wasn't.
The differential, the front of the differential where the drive shaft goes into is pointing backwards. So
We'll see if
It's
he
gonna-
mentions anything or if he just comes on and it's back the way it should be.
yeah, no, I don't think it is because who's oh you can see in a couple of the shots in the video. In the next stage, he's talking about the parts that he's doing underneath, more parts that he's doing underneath there.
Yep.
And you can see that the differential is on backwards from what it is in the book.
Oh, okay.
I didn't comment on it yet. I was like, that's funny.
We'll see if we'll have to wait and see if someone else commented or how long it takes him to notice, either or.
Yeah. Well, I know what he's going to say. Anybody who watches him should know what he's going to say when he realizes it. He's going to say, I make mistakes, so you don't have to.
There we go.
I have stolen that line once or twice from him.
Keith says maybe Wayne thinks it's a Corsair.
Yeah.
And Donnie says
Corsair or Corvair?
Well, there we go. Donnie says, so are you saying Wayne isn't a car guy?
No, Wayne is not normally a car guy, I don't think. And I can see what Don was talking about. One, these parts are not perfect. And two, more importantly, it's not straight right now.
Oh. Can you throw a 1, 2, 3 block in there to square it off? Like one underneath it to kind of support it?
You know.
And one in the body to square things off?
Good idea, actually. I don't know if you saw that the puppy feet got up.
I saw that. That's
Like,
because
where are we going,
you were
Dad?
moving.
Are we going somewhere, Dad? No, that's not going to work because it's going to sit there and chill.
No, I was gonna say, like the way it's sitting right now, put a 1, 2, 3 block under the open spot now, and then just lay that.
Actually, put 2 under there like that. That one there. And that one there.
Yeah, does that work?
It should,
Okay,
hopefully.
good.
Okay, I'm going to turn off the AC because the price of electricity is about to, in another 15 minutes, it's going to drop more.
There we go. Donnie says someone did point that out to Wayne, and he said exactly what you said he would. There we go.
It's awesome when you know exactly what somebody's going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is the video was a month old. So I thought it might be old enough that he would actually have gotten the next stage, but he didn't yet.
Yeah. I'm getting to the point where you're at too, where you start falling behind on your YouTube video watching.
Oh, I'm always behind.
Yeah.
But I'm not near as bad as I used to be. At one point, I was 5 months behind.
Ooh. Yes, I got to watch your Iron Spider videos. I see you had 2 out now.
Yep. And I'm playing with it simply because I'm waiting for that to dry. And I figured out what was wrong with that little tram.
Oh?
Yeah. The biggest problem with that little tram is I'm dumb.
Oh, okay.
I left one of the wheels out of the inside. I put when I got it in there, it worked like a champ.
There you go.
That
Donnie
is so
says,
cool.
wait, do you mean it's possible to not be behind on YouTube watching? Well, it's different
Yeah.
when you have friends now that, you have a personal connection with that actually produce videos.
Yeah, and Donnie, don't make me mad. That is so cool.
It is.
And I have the next shipment. I got the next shipment in
Nice.
yesterday. Or no, 2 days ago. Oh, matter of fact, yeah, 2 days ago on the Sunday stream. That was when I said, really, fan home?
That's unfortunate for a nice collector's magazine.
Well, it's not the magazine, it's the prints, and I usually don't keep the prints anyway.
Oh, it's the prints. Well, they're not creased, so you could
No.
put them under something heavy to weigh it down, let it sit there for a few months.
Yeah. But they're not the best prints.
Okay. Just some screen grabs from the movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I will never say bad things about them during a video while I'm building.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good shot there. This one here?
Yep.
Because that is right before he got the suit. Because that's the spaceship heading out into space, and he's in the regular suit.
Yeah.
And that's when Stark's like, this kid's going to die.
And Alec is asking, so Buck, did you see the sneak peek at Pack 5 of the Constitution?
I did not. I might have to. Well, let me see. Let's take a look and see what's on Agora.
Wow, we've been going for
almost an hour.
Yeah. Well, just over 3/4 of an hour.
Not sure how you can see a sneak peek of Pack 5 considering Pack 3 is all that's out. But they may have posted something on the website. Okay, cutting. Hey, it doesn't tell you how long to make them.
Oh.
It's okay. I'll make them about this long. I kind of like actually corner gluing, because corner gluing, I just throw some glue, run the glue down the corner, and then put this in there.
Good night, Keith. You have a
good night,
good
Keith.
Day tomorrow. And Alex says they posted it on Instagram.
I doesn't Instagram. That's the problem.
There you go. And Keith says, see you tomorrow for Woody Wednesday.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, Donnie should be there for Woody Wednesday tomorrow.
There we go. And Donnie actually says, if it was already out, then it wouldn't be a sneak peek, Buck.
There is that. So that should work okay. So the question is, Alec, are they going to finally start giving you actual decks?
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yep. Not sure what's going on, but Andrea just chased Marley in here. Didn't close the door all the way.
Donnie says, shh, not so loud. Someone might hear. To which I say, I know, right?
See, here's the thing. They're not perfectly straight. There we go. They're not perfectly straight on here.
Right.
But you know what that makes it? Handmade.
There you go.
And see, this is where we start having the long pieces.
Howard's here. He says, a tropical storm, Andrea.
Yes, indeed. There are cannons in Pack 5. That's awesome.
Yes.
Something, too, about Agora that I find interesting, because they've gone through and they've looked at their website. Also makes it crooked. That's okay, Donnie. It's allowed to be crooked. Something interesting on their website that I saw is that, and I went out and looked after they sent me an email saying,
hello. Can I come in a second? Yeah, you are.
I am on, sweetheart.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Hi,
Bye.
Andrea.
Can talk to you then.
Hang on. I'll be right back, guys. Let me mute for a second.
Sorry, just 30
Certainly.
seconds.
Oh, Howard says, by the way, Donnie, those nails are sticking through the pre-made holes and glued in for decoration. There we go. So you're not actually, you don't actually need the hammer like we were saying last night, Donnie. So you just be able to just kind of push them through with something. Maybe the handles of a set of tweezers or something. Here's Buckback.
I am. So Marley is living up to his name.
Oh?
Yeah. Marley went up to Jordan's room. Andrea and Jordan were talking in our room, and Apollo was in there. And
Yeah.
Marley went up and said, "Oh, cool. Apollo's food is unguarded." And he ate as much as he gets all day.
Nice.
Yes, those nails stick through pre-made holes and are glued in for direct decorations.
Yes.
Yes, she has a very sweet accent. She is my Austrian lady.
How are her eyebrows?
Normal.
Oh, okay.
She plucks them. She has for years, and she's never had the unibrow. I have more of a unibrow than she does.
Well, I was just commenting because someone on one of the other shows had been intoxicated and made some strange comments about somebody's eyebrows.
Yeah. Always. Somebody is always talking about eyebrows.
Yes.
Okay. I should find those parts that go on the top there, which is odd that they didn't just make that. Excuse me. Didn't make the curved pieces on top. Still Friday, as they say.
And Donnie says, and Ken channels his inner Ian. Inner in, inner in, inner in, inner in, inner in. There you go. I said it 5 times fast.
No, he doesn't get a show up here.
No, I just said inner in. You know, it's like a tongue twister.
Yeah. Okay. Where is it? I'm not seeing those pieces.
Yeah, I'm waiting to get those parts from the Donnie printed and the parts that Will printed, and then I can really start pegging away at that Reliant. It'll be really good.
Very cool.
What I got to do though is start getting the the paints, the actual the what do they call them? They're not hobby paints. The just the acrylic paints like from Walmart. You okay?
Oh, craft paints.
Yes, craft paints. Thank you.
Where are these pieces? Somebody say it's over there.
Donnie said they're over there, and then he said, "No, the other there."
Ah, okay. They were supposed to be in the in the part this came, or the wood that this came out. Okay, never mind. I'm looking right at it.
Yeah,
Well,
Donnie told you it's right there.
Yeah, right in front of me.
It's over there, in front of you.
Well, see, it shows right here
Mm-hmm.
on the plan. See where the Z piece is at, or N, whichever you want to call it?
Yep.
Those braces are between them. And I'm sitting here looking all over for this piece of wood that's right here that has those braces in them.
See, I would call it the Z pieces,
Yes.
just to be a smarty.
Or the, well, there's always the Y. I have always, ever since I loved how it's pronounced, or ever since I learned how it's pronounced, I've always loved the German Y, how they say it.
And how do they say it?
Epsilon or Ypsilon.
Ypsilon. Okay. Now, the German language has a lot of words, more than English, apparently.
Yes.
And English has a lot of words, including the fact that we're constantly making new words.
Yes.
But here's an interesting fact. Canadian, like the Quebec French, is a lot different than like France French. They're so like, apparently this is what I've been told. In like France, a lot of words they'll start using the English words for stuff that are new words coming out. For example, a hot dog they'll call a hot dog because that's what it's called. But in Quebec, they'll actually call it. They'll actually use the word hot in French and then the word dog in French.
Wie heißt es Hund?
So they'll use like shod, la chienne.
Yeah.
Because they're so anti-English.
I threw it out there.
Oh, there we go. Andrew,
German.
thank you, Andrew. Shin shao.
Shin shao. Yes.
So dog hot.
Exactly, because English is the only language that is backwards from the rest of the world.
Yes.
Let's see. Are these identical both directions? They are, so I can't get them on there backwards. That's cool.
And yes, good evening, Andrew. He says, good evening, gentlemen. Hot enough to ignite your wooden ship yet?
Not yet. I can't get them on there backwards, but what I can do is break them.
There you go.
Just like that. So we'll stop trying to sand that the curved piece there. It's going to be painted black anyway.
Are you getting some work done at the bench tonight, Andrew? Yeah, 36 degrees. Yeah, that's a hot one.
Actually, I'm not sure if Andrew can get work done in the bench because his bench is in the garage.
Exactly. That's what I was wondering. Yeah, here we're not that hot here. We're like 25 degrees Celsius.
I checked earlier, and according to Echo, it was 35 out there today.
Okay. Yeah. See, for you guys, that would be 77, which
Oh, no.
no, for what I'm saying, my temperature is
Okay.
would be 77. Feels like 81.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Right now, it's 86 outside.
Yeah. What's the feel like though? Humid?
Let's see. It is 45% humidity, so it's not too bad.
Okay. Let's see here. Howard says we have a lot of words that could be said wrong because they are spelled different, like tail and tail, plane and plane, two and two. They there, right, and light. That is so true.
Absolutely.
That can be confusing for someone trying to learn our language.
Just for fun, let me take a look and see. It's 27 degrees out, or no, sorry, 30 degrees outside. 27 in here.
Here we go. A little bit of Celsius for those of you who are in Celsius areas.
Yeah, my little. I have two through inside outdoor side thermometers.
Yep.
The one that's more correct is the one that's by me because it's never in direct sunlight. The one that's in the kitchen, sometimes there'll be snow on the ground and you'll look at it and it'll say it's 97 degrees out because it's in direct sunlight.
Nice. Andrew says the garage is insulated and I keep the door to the house open with a fan blowing in the AC from the house. That probably helps. Howard says, yeah, the metal and plastic don't warp as bad as wood. True.
Haven't gotten to get work done yet. Kids in bed. I remember those days.
Donnie says it's 88 here. You're going to go back in time? Oh, wait, that's miles an hour.
That's okay. Donnie could end up going back in time. Alec is asking, is he the last one who's waiting on the last Wednesday dash? Probably. Speaking of which, I did not forget you, Alec. I saw it today and I'm like, damn it, I need to get that thing in the mail. And for those of you who are curious what I'm talking about, if I can find it, I've moved things around the shop today. I ended up with two of these, and I'm going to send one of them to Alec.
Oh, there you go. That's nice.
Yeah, what that is for is when you're doing copper plating on a hull, it does the rivets for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Howard said that Jordan didn't get his yet.
I'm also reading, he says a note about old farmhouses. The wood windows and doors like to flex with the weather, swelling and such with the seasons. Yes. I remember that when I'd go to my grandparents' farm.
I remember my grandparents' root cellar. And I always thought it was the weirdest thing that they had their cellar was actually just dug into the ground.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when we lived in Oregon, we had an artesian in our basement.
Yep. Did you ever let them out?
Nope. Well,
to this day.
Yeah. Well, it's Oregon, man. Artesians make Coors Brew or Coors beer.
There we go.
occasionally the basement would flood because of the artesian well. And then one time, Dad had a phone call, and I learned to sleep from my dad. I sleep just as well as he does.
Mm-hmm.
One time, Dad had a phone call, and Mom was like, I'm going to get him up. And so she jumped on the end of the waterbed, or on the corner of the waterbed to make the wave.
Yeah.
So that Dad would get up. When the waterbed split all the way around, all four sides went no, because it was just the bag on the ground. Dad got up really fast that day. And fortunately, the waterbed was in the basement where the artesian lived.
Ooh.
So the artesian got more water. So
let's see here.
I should probably explain to those people who don't know how an artesian well works. An artesian well is a well that isn't really a well because it's the hole where the well water would come from floods by itself. It just automatically floods. Water comes up out of the ground.
Yeah.
They're not that common anymore. These days we call them sinkholes.
We got some comments coming through here. We have Andrew saying he read the receipt showing that over there they're eating their too spicy chicken wings. Yeah, he read the red receipt showing that over there they're eating their too spicy chicken wings.
He's practicing his multiple words in English.
Yes. Alec is asking, did the Constitution have copper plating?
No, I do not believe so.
Okay.
Actually, I am incorrect. Let me double check. To the Google.
Howard says the Dark Canadians didn't get anything. Otherwise, Andrew and Ken, you would have gotten Wooded and Jody. We know you're thinking of us, and that's the important thing. Appreciate that. Maybe the other guys don't. No, we're polite Canadians. It's the thought that counts.
Well, the thing is, what he needs to do is learn Todd's trick and order it from Amazon Canada.
Amazon.ca. That's what I do. I do Amazon.ca, and then if I'm ordering something for you guys, I'll order it on Amazon.com. So
the Constitution does have. Okay, the Agora Constitution, when the hull is done, does not have copper. It has just wood.
Okay.
But the Constitution itself, which is why it was known as Old Ironsides, does have the copper hull plating. And the reason it was called Old Ironsides is because during the War of 1812, I think it was, they direct cannon fire bounced off of the 12-inch planking. Uh-oh. The audience has spoken.
All right. Let's see what else we got here.
There you go, Eric.
Oh, clamps.
There, better?
Here we go. Yeah, not enough clamps. Andrew says waterbeds were a smart idea. I loved my waterbed, especially when I was in the Army and we'd be on an exercise in the winter. And you'd come home from that exercise and you're just freezing. You'd crawl into that waterbed and it's just so nice and warm.
Water beds
Fall
are
asleep in
great.
minutes.
Water beds are great until the heater goes out.
Yes. Then they suck
And
all the heat out of you.
yes, and well, did you have a traditional water bed or a soft side?
Traditional with the wooden framing.
Yeah. The other problem with water beds, we had we had a water bed when Andrea had her back surgery.
Oh, okay.
If she had gotten into the bed, she would never have come out.
Yeah. And it depends too. I know there's certain water beds had certain amounts of firmness. Like mine
Yes.
was we had no firmness, it was just a bladder. And some
Yep.
had like a foam mesh in there.
Well, we always had the full motion beds because being military, we had to move it.
Yes, exactly. Howard says I so wanted to have water bed. Do they still do water beds?
I believe they do.
There you go. So you could still get one.
Yep.
Andrew said I wouldn't know what to do with a wood kit anyway. Howard says I won't let me. It says everything is unavailable when I switch to Amazon.ca. I can do UK but not CA.
Ah,
And
water
then,
beds and cats.
but not so bad if you always kept your water bed made though, because they'd just be on the comforter.
Yeah. Well, we knew somebody, didn't know them personally, but we knew somebody who at one point in time had a cat and a water bed, and they were in the process of changing the sheets. The sheets were in the laundry.
Yeah.
And they came into the bedroom, and the waterbed was just spouting little spouts everywhere because
no.
the cat had seen the bubble, and it was like, oh, yes, all over the bed. We never had that problem though, because one, we didn't have cats for the most part,
Right.
and two, more importantly, I could burp a waterbed better than most people can burp a baby.
Yeah, I mean, I got all the bubbles out of mine. I'd actually have it so that a little bit of water comes out as just a touch of water comes out as you're putting a stopper in.
Yep. And then even with that, about every 6 months, you had to burp it again.
Yeah. And you also put those chemicals in it too.
Yep.
Keep that down and stop, LJ from growing in there or whatever.
Yes.
Let's see here. Alex says, okay, now I know what my probably only mod I'll make on my Constitution will be. You'll be applying the copper hull buck.
I don't know yet if I'm even going to do the regular hull. I will probably do the regular hull, but still not sure if I'm going to do the copper. And I'm torn between doing the hull, doing the planking on the hull, or doing half planking and having the other side open and putting lights in the bottom.
Yes, I got to agree with some comments coming up here. So Howard says, yes, the Dark Canadians come to the dark side. I meant Star Trek. You noticed all three Canadians mostly do Star Trek models. Andrew, it'll be Star Trek wood kit. And then Jody says, I think Ken only recently started doing Star Trek. That's true, Jody. I was mostly armor and aircraft, the odd car model. But yeah, for most of the time, I did like some Star Trek as a teenager, as well as like tanks and all that stuff as well. But my love of Star Trek, I think even last night in Donnie's stream is the Star Trek kits I started collecting when I started getting back into modeling were kind of my plan for when I was retired and I would have more time. And now I'm retired, so now and then having met HTM is giving me a great opportunity to, partner up with people like Jordan and, work on, the science fiction kits.
Well, tell the truth. It's, now that you're retired, you don't have time.
Well, it sometimes feels that way.
Yeah. There's always something to do. By the way, to cut these posts off, I'm using one of my kits, one of my blades that I bought from AL.
Nice. Photo etch.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what I was just taking it out of the sprue here.
Nice. I've got a bunch of fancy curved ones and stuff. It's a photo etch that I need to find a handle for.
I'm trying to figure out.
And I've just got my couple Amazon orders today.
And this is the other one that I've got out so far.
Nice.
They replaced the pin vise for gluing.
Right on. Yeah. I got some more wire wrapping wire of several different colors today, and I finally got my fiber optic cable for running lights.
Very cool. Oh, look at that.
Nice.
That's beautiful. The one that I cut right here.
Nice, smooth.
Yep. It's got a little bit of a rise on it, but nice.
Howard says, I slept on a waterbed once and I never snored, but it was sure a learning curve to other activities.
Nuh-uh. One pump and then relax. Wait, it depends if it's a full motion mattress.
Let's see here. Howard said, I said Friday. Get the potato buds out of your ears.
I knew you said Friday.
Andrew says, just so everyone knows, only 338 more modeling days till Wonderfest. I'm going to have to print up an analog paper countdown. I can just cross dates off to keep me on track. Those digital counters counting days, hours, and minutes are cool, but a bit pricey.
I should send you the donut of death I have. That's what we called it. When you're, I'm sure you had one too, Ken, when you're counting down to retirement.
No, I didn't.
It was an Excel thing, and it would show you how much you've put in, how long you have to retirement, and so on and so forth. It was really cool because you'd punch everything into the table, and it would pop up with a donut. It was the donut of death. How long do you have to go until you can retire?
No, for me, I was basically forced to retire. So due to illness.
Yep.
So / workplace injury, actually, but
yeah,
Well,
for me, I was forced to retire as well because back in 2003, and the United States Air Force, I love them to death, but they do the same stupid thing every 10 years or so. They make a bunch of people leave, and then when everything balances out and they realize, oh, wait, we lost too many. We got rid of too many. We lost all our experience, so we're going to change this. And so back in 2003, they changed the high year of tenure for a master sergeant from 24 to 26. Yay! We're gonna do 26. They did tech sergeant to 22, staff sergeant to 20. And then in 2010, and I figured, I had just made I had made master. I figured I had plenty of time. I was going to make senior the next time out. And then they changed the higher tenure from 24 to 20, or 26 to 24, and said that will be, you have to separate from the military by the 1st of April of 2011. But we will let you stick around as a master sergeant. We'll let you stick around until March to find out if you made senior on or around the 15th of September or 15th of March. And I'm like, yeah, I ain't even testing because that's flipping stupid. I am not going to get to within 15 days of my retirement date to find out whether or not I can stay.
Yeah, that doesn't leave you much time to make plans then.
Or to change plans.
Exactly.
I just went, nope, I'm done. And the Air Force did me at the time I was upset, but it turns out the Air Force did me a huge favor because it was time.
Yeah.
Front platform. Okay. I love this. Test fit assembled front platform to the cabin front wall, centered left to right, braces flush bottom edge of the cabin floor. Okay. Hang on. It fits. It's not in the right place, but it fits. It fits. It fits. I love test fit. What they mean is they want you to put it here, something like that.
There you go.
Kind of like that. Let me see. And there's what they're they want you to look for is the fact that it's not completely flat back here. But at the same time, the fact that and I am a huge proponent of wood because the wood always comes out looking like you built it by hand. That is one of the things I love about wood is because it looks like you built it by hand because it's never perfect. Sometimes you end up with the wood twisting just a hair. Not sure who had that happen recently. Is Dom here? There's the problem. I don't think the camera will even pick it up. It will. You see how there is a slight bump right there.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, just a little bit of sanding, very gently, because that's the one I broke already. And that right there is why I bought a vacuum. Because I sand a little bit, and then I go. Oh, when I was working on the Moomin house, I happened to look at my soldering iron was sitting right here. I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, I need to stop doing that because that thing is just coated with sawdust. Alex said he agrees. He likes however natural everything when you build wood versus plastic. And Don said, keep it up, Sparky.
I'm just looking at those digital day counters that Andrew was talking about. So the ones I'm looking at here are digital 999 day countdown timer. Is that the kind you were looking at, Andrew? It's like a days, hours, minutes, and seconds. It's $100 on Amazon.
Good God, why? Just go on. If you have Excel, just Google a countdown calendar.
I kind of see why he's, wanting one though, for right behind him on his videos and stuff.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't realize I put them all the way over there. So now I put this up here so it'll fall off and break things.
Yeah, he says I can't keep it on my wall if it's Excel.
You can if you have a tablet.
Yeah, see, there's some cheap ones, but the nice ones are like, all about $100. One for $16. Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that, but it does kind of look like you only spent $16.
Yeah. Could be worse. Could be like my calendar that I keep my monthly planner on. I have a monthly.
Andrew, I will send you a link. Do you want one with blue LEDs, red LEDs, or green LEDs? Green looks nice.
My monthly planner I have on the wall, what I do is transfer appointments up. Current month is always on the top.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like the green, blue, and red are all the same black style body, just different color LEDs in them. Okay, I'll send you a picture of the green one's the easiest one to read, I think. So I'll send you a link.
I'm looking at this, and it's talking about front floor braces. Let's see. Nope, that's the wrong sheet.
Yeah, you know what, Andrew? I didn't even look at the size. But there's the link for you. That's a big link. Holy cow. Oh, careful there, Alec. I've done that before.
Yes.
Water down the wrong pipe.
Always remember, you are not Aquaman.
Donnie, he didn't. Yeah, I think he had a countdown timer on his computer screen at one point. And then the other counter there is the number of viewers. And Jody says, I do that 5 times a day. Water down the wrong pipe.
It blows my mind that this thing has 5 separate sheets. I'm just looking to see where the front floor braces are. Side braces, bench braces.
Yeah, these ones I was looking at, Andrew, just seem like they're like 13 inches, so just over a foot long. So Yeah, not too big. You probably want something that's a little easier for people to see on screen. Not a bad size. Okay, if 13 inches, okay. But I do like the green. I think the green would be easier to see. They have the exact same ones for the same price, just with blue LEDs or one with the red LEDs as well listed. Hmm.
Interesting that it says. Wait a minute.
It says, wait a minute.
It does.
Wow.
Cabin floor braces. It's talking about the front floor braces,
Yeah.
but I think they're already there. Unless they're talking about these corner braces here, but there is no room for more bracing right here.
Right. Andrew says, I'll have to think about that. Would be handy, what with having 7 projects that all need to be done before Wonderfest. Yeah, no kidding.
I have 2.
I have 0.
Well, I have 2 unless I decide to. Let me see if I can get it right here. Unless I decide to go ahead and do this one.
Right. Then you would have 3?
Yes.
Yeah, see, if I go to Wonderfest, I'll be flying and I won't be bringing any models.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is I'm driving, but it was looking at the models that were there. I might get a merit, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, Andrea knows, most people know that I do my models strictly for me.
Right.
I mean, it was kind of funny the other day. You remember when we first got the paint pens?
Yes.
And you and I were the only ones who did the paint marker challenge.
That's right.
I looked at that tank the other day, a couple of days ago, happened to glance over at it, and I picked it up and I looked at it and I'm like, oh my God, this looks so awesome. The fact that I did it strictly with paint pens was like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So let's see. Yeah, I think it's solid. When you can pick the model up with a part of it, it's solid, right?
Yeah, generally. Andrew says he's second here. I'll go back here. I missed a couple. Howard says you got to take the Christine buggy.
Yes. Actually, I might, because that one will be done soon.
And it won't take up too much space either.
Well, and the thing is, if I bring that one, the 2 cars are being entered as a set.
There you go.
Because I have, I've got the Christine as well.
Yeah. Nice. Don says, Buck, they are talking about the braces you already placed. There are 2 strips added to the back edge of the floor.
Ah, okay. That's funny because they say to put these. They say to. Maybe I misread that. Let me see. Did they say cut and glue? Yeah. Cut and glue 2 1/8 by 1/8 wood strips near to the rear edge of the front floor, top and bottom, strong gluing surface. Glue 2 corner front braces, top edge. Okay, so the front floor braces were these 2 on the top here. And then they tell you to put them on again. That's awesome. And then they tell you to paint the roof, paint the basically paint the rest of the side in here.
Oh, okay.
And to be honest, I think what I'm going to do, because it's my model and I'll do whatever I want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the edges here where it said to leave it unpainted, for a gluing surface.
Yep.
I'm not going to paint the grid work.
Right.
I think it looks good that way. And I'll have to paint the outer edges on this too. That actually came out really nice.
Yeah, that paint over the tape.
Yeah, because most of it, I even put it on the right way. Look at me go. Most of it you won't even see. The only place you might see it at all is up here in the front. And oh, look at that. It's gonna be glued. I mean, it's not gonna be a good bond there because of the tape, but it's gonna be glued right there in the center.
There you go.
But so the tape is gonna basically be gone. Uh-oh, Buck did a boo-boo. I've done more than one boo-boo in my life.
I'm going to catch up on some comments here. Andrew says, I'm only planning on bringing 2 models, the 350B or Excelsior and the 1400D or E for the giveaway.
If I claim to have brought...
Oh, go ahead.
If I claim to have brought Ian, can we give him away?
You can try. Maybe Kenneth will be there and take him.
Yeah.
Donnie says, I did it for one stream, but then I didn't finish. And then Andrew says, but I've also got the 2 650Ds to finish, then 2 1400Es to finish, and a 1400D to start and finish on top of those. See, I thought about trying to commission Andrew for a simple build, just to see how you would do it, Andrew. I thought about seeing if you would do one of those 1/1000 scale TOS Enterprise with the Botany Bay, just to see how you would do it.
Botany Bay.
We've got to get
Captain,
out of here.
we have to get out of here.
Yeah.
The one thing I love about that scene is that every time YouTube, they're always talking about the fact that Chekhov wasn't even there.
I've also heard it said that he was there. He just wasn't a bridge crew member, or, that he got promoted to the bridge.
That is more likely.
Yeah. Because it's one thing to say, well, he would have heard stories about what happened, but then Khan wouldn't have known who he was.
Right.
So I think he was a member of the crew, just not the bridge crew.
Well,
or the primary bridge crew.
The funny thing is, you know that Chekhov is a result of the Beatles? They brought Chekhov on as a younger bridge crew member with the hair in the style that the Beatles did, to cash in on the fact that the Beatles became so popular.
There we have it.
I mean, it's just like Mickey Dolenz and the Monkees. The only reason they invented them for the TV show was because of the Beatles. And then they screwed up and started actually singing on their own.
That's the kit, Andrew, I'm talking about. Yep. See, I think you could do a really nice job and it'd be simple. And I thought, I wonder if you would just do it or if I should commission you to build it. And I don't think it would be, too hard for you to build. So I don't think the cost would be too high.
Not more than $3 million.
Yeah. Let's see here. Alex says, for Wonderfest, I would think it would be either cool or hilarious if you put Han and Chewie in a firefight on that wagon or lay in the back and they're trying to get Jailbreaker with Vader at the reins.
Now, the best model I've ever seen dealing with Chewie, it was hilarious, and it's unfortunate the guy has thrown it away since. Eric did one with a ATST.
Yep.
Stepping on Chewie. What I'm doing right now is I noticed down inside that the where the bench meets the side, it's not painted. Probably should have done that before I did the grid work.
See, Howard says, see if I get Andrew to make my E. I'd have it entered in Wonderfest, and then I can just drop it off on the way back to Canada. Oh, sorry, he can then drop it off on the way back to Canada. Don says, gotta love their instructions.
You do. And that's the problem with Model Expo kits. I love their kits. Their kits are great. Their instructions suck out loud because they're not complete or they're repetitive.
Andrew says, and then at some point I have a blue Aztec E to do. And then, Donnie said, oh, Buck did a boo-boo. Andrew said, Ken check general, and I did, and that's where I saw that kit you were holding. That's the one. Because they're still widely available, that kit. I just saw someone do one the other day on YouTube, and yeah, I mean, for that person, I'm sure it was great. But I think better things can be done with that kit. But I'm not going to name names.
Speaking of kits that are awesome and would be awesome, Andrea and I started watching. We watched a little bit of Phil today when he did his Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yep.
And Andrea has agreed that is if it's ever available for a reasonable amount of, reasonable amount of money, not $800 for a 60-year-old kit, that would be one to do.
So Andrew said, Jody says, I knew who it was. I saw that too. You think he could have done better? I've seen him do better work. So.
Sorry, cleaning the paint right now. Cleaning the paint lid.
I think that your little paintbrush cleaner is kind of interesting.
This?
Yeah.
It is
an Amazon purchase, or?
Yeah, well, I bought it before it was readily available.
Yeah.
I saw it on World of Wayne, and it's from, Green Stuff World makes it.
Okay.
And you put, most of the guys call it my paintbrush toilet.
Oh, okay.
Because you clean your brush, and then you flush the toilet. And so you have fresh water every time you do that. The original one that I got, I paid, this one is now $15. I paid $39 for it.
Okay.
And the one that I paid for $39 for had the smaller bottle here. It's only half the size. This bottle you can use, go through one full bottle, and then you got to clean the bottom. Just empty it out. But it's great because what it does is you sit there, you paint, you do your painting, and then you clean your brush, and you flush the toilet to get rid of the paint, and you have fresh water to clean your paint with or clean your brush with.
Yeah, Andrew it was a Canadian who built that ship I was talking about that Jody and I were referring to.
Canadian? That guy?
Canadian. A Canadian guy?
Yeah.
What did you think, Jody? Do you think he could have done a better job? I can neither confirm nor deny that, Andrew.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I didn't really want to put a name out there, Andrew, but yeah.
Oh, nice. Roof structure gets glued in place. Assemble the following front platform, front floor, front wall. So then we do this.
Mm-hmm.
We come back here and we do the work on the roof. We sand it, make sure that it's all flat, flush, and everything. At no time ever do we put these beams right here. Never. We never do that.
Really?
But they're supposed to be there right now.
Oh, well.
Love this.
I mean, they didn't magically appear for you like they did with them?
Yeah, apparently not. So let me see. I'll take out my 5 pages of pictures and look. No, it's not on there.
No?
I'm about to throw this in the wrong box. There's the box. The problem is I have the Spider-Man box behind me, and I use the exact same box for all my models. Let's see. Today, stringers, door stop. I'm just looking to see if there's an actual piece that was designed for there. I'm guessing there probably will be, and I won't find it until after I've already scratch built something for it.
And Alec asks, is Eric still lurking here?
Maybe. Oh, speaking of Eric, it just made me think, you know, I started looking for clamps. Andrea got me a new guy.
Ooh, here we go.
There's an Aurora Chitty Chitty Bang Bang on eBay for only $350. But yeah, this is actually a keychain.
Oh, geez. That's a big keychain.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is Andrea got the same thing as Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
And they canceled it because it was out of stock, and she never even realized it until mine showed up and hers didn't.
Hmm. And Alex asking how Andrea's doing lately.
She's actually doing pretty well.
Good.
Still has the occasional episode with the high heart rate and high blood pressure, but for the most part, both are doing really great.
Don says, put your keys on there and you won't lose them, that's for sure.
Actually, I bought a keyboard, and not the kind you type on.
I was about to say. I think we've all got keyboards, Buck.
Yeah, I have over on the wall because we bought one in Germany, and let me think. This thing is probably about 28 years old. It's missing one hook. And it says on it Schlüsselbrett, which is German for keyboard. That's where we keep our keys until we hung it in this house and we put it in a place where it's inconvenient to get to. So had Andrea buy me a keyboard that's now over there. It's got a little shelf on it. So I've got some stuff like my wallet and things sitting on it, and then the keys hang down below, just so that let's see, how do you put it? And I don't want to take anything away from anybody who has PTSD, but I have PTSD over keys.
Okay.
If I misplace my keys, I
anxiety.
will lose my mind.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to when I was about 8. I was in 2nd grade. Paul and Becky, my brother and sister, were both in high school and junior high. But I was the first one who got home from school. So they never took their keys. I forgot my key one day, and we stood outside for 3.5, 4 hours in the rain, waiting for Mom and Dad to come home.
I remember as a kid trying to break into my own house.
Yeah, well, Paul did try.
Latched, or is there, you're just trying to find some way.
Yeah, well, Paul did climb up on the deck and try and get in that way, but I was just made to feel so bad that to this day, if I misplace my keys, I lose my mind. And so the keyboard is a must. I have to have somewhere where my keys belong.
It's one thing I remember about the Army is you could be working during the day, and like if you're one of the trusted guys who, is even just a little bit senior as a corporal or whatever, you're the guy, and you end up start having like so many keys in your pockets. So you got to turn in at the end of the day.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, it's the same thing with, like, it was funny being aircraft maintenance, foreign object damage. I always signed out my own toolbox.
There you go.
And it was funny. We had a reservist in Turkey when we launched some jets out.
Yep.
And he had done some work on the jet on what was called a red ball. It's, you got to go out, got to get the jet greened up because there's a problem when during the launch. So we go out, we swap parts if we have to, and we launch the jet.
Right.
Well, this guy got out, used my toolbox. He swapped a part. He got back on the truck. When he got back in the truck, I inventoried the toolkit, and he had broken an apex, number 10 hex apex. And I said, dude, where's the other piece of my apex? And he's like, it was stuck in the panel. I'll get it back. Get it when the plane comes back. I said, no, you won't. It's coming out. It's going to be lost. Thank you. I now have a lost tool because the aircraft had already taxied.
Yeah.
They didn't make me fill out a lost tool report, but it was so funny. This kid came back their jet comes back, kid goes out there, and he's like, huh, the part's gone. Yes, of course. I couldn't really fault him because, well, for one thing, red bulb maintenance was not done in a guard unit that has 30 airplanes and 6 front lines, meaning they're flying 6 jets and they have 30 airplanes.
There you go. Yep. That one's not working. Okay, let's go get another one.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was funny because one of the crew chiefs, one of our pilots had a problem. He did it, called out, had a flight control malfunction. And the pilot said, okay, I'm going to ground abort and move to the next jet. And the crew chief looked at him up in the cockpit and, he opens the cockpit up and the pilot's like, yeah, put up the ladder so I can ground abort and go to the next jet. And the crew chief looks at him and he says, that ain't happening. This guy's going to have the jet fixed before you get out of it. Because he'd seen me do it. He'd seen me, same pilot had ground aborted that jet the day before and taken the spare, which was right in the front, right on the pad in front.
Yep.
And before he taxied, I had his jet fixed.
Nice.
I mean, avionics work is a lot of just grab a part, swap it out, and swap it and fix the jet. And this time it was funny because the can jet, which is the jet we were cannibalized from, was sitting in front of this jet. And so I already had the part and was putting it in when the guy was like, yeah, I'm going to ground abort. And this crew chief like, no, I don't think so, sir. Sir. I have to say, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So
I am going to go back to reading a few comments here. Howard said they even say in those drawings they aren't to size.
Yeah, but they don't say in those drawings that they are missing parts.
Don says, I think there was an STL file for the Chitty somewhere.
That would be cool.
Donnie says, have they found out what's wrong with Andrea yet?
Not yet. I think Friday is now her cardiologist appointment. She had it had gotten moved up for her, but cardiologist had emergency surgery on the day that she was supposed to go see him.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, open heart surgery takes precedence over a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
Hi, Murphy. I have 2 dogs now.
Howard says Lou and Phil did a chitty car. Not sure if the resin kit or a plastic kit.
It was the plastic one. Those are the ones that we were watching today. Okay. And she said she looked at that. She watched Phil, and she's like, "I can't watch this guy." It's notwithstanding that he used to actually be in the business. She was like, I can't watch him.
Yeah, Donnie said Phil did the Aurora kit. I don't remember which one Lou did.
The Aurora.
Yeah. And Don says, I think they were STL. And Andrew says, I hope the doctor recovers soon.
Yeah. The doctor was fine. He had to he had to do surgery. But no, it was kind of funny when you look at Phil's video, because Phil said that he was, he'd seen it at Wonderfest and he thought about it, and then he decided, he left and he came back and he decided to buy it, and somebody else had bought it. Lou.
Nice.
Yeah, and then the one that Lou had bought was a completely open box. it didn't even have the original box. And I was watching a little bit of Lou's, and he had acquired another one that had the box. And it was funny because what Andrea couldn't deal with was Phil sitting there and talking for about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes about the instructions, how he had somehow he had gotten what looked like a brand new set of instructions, and then the other guy had provided photocopy, and the original instructions were in there in really rough shape. It was all stuff modeling guys would go, yeah, it's fine.
Exactly. Night, Stephen.
Good night, Stephen.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. By the way, speaking of dogs, because I said Murphy is here. Murphy just sat on my foot. It's kind of funny because Apollo and Marley don't get along. Murphy and Apollo don't get along. So of course, Murphy and Marley are greatest of friends. Okay, so I just glued those braces in, made them up out of some strip that I had, because they're not included. There's nothing. I looked at the sheet. There's nothing there. And the next thing that we're supposed to do is put this on.
Yeah.
So I want to let those braces dry. What I do want to double check though is, oh, look at that. Those are going to be so perfect. And it actually, wow, look at that. It is actually lining up perfect.
Well, that's great.
So maybe I'll stick around for a couple more minutes here, because Donnie hasn't yet had time. You go, you can't quit yet. Just looking at this is a very precise piece. What I think I'm going to do is I am going to stop here for tonight.
Okay.
And I'm going to glue this. I'm going to glue this down. Donnie's, you're finally giving in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down during the week, over the next week. But I am going to see if I can break it. Not meaning to break it, but I'm going to see if I can break it anyway.
Donnie's like, wait, stop, no. Or actually more, wait, stop, no.
So I'm going to let this sit overnight like this.
For this type of wood, does it ever help to like moisten it to help it confirm?
That's what I was going to say, is before I do that,
like brush some water onto it or something.
That's another thing that this is great for. I have actually that brush is going to take about 3 weeks to get all the water on there that I need.
Donnie says you can't wait. You can't stop until the glue dries. Oh, and look, Jeff's Train World HONO gauge is here.
Hey, Jeff. Jeff usually shows up just in time for me to get off. So what I'm going to do...
Donnie thinks the other brush was fine.
I'm going to brush some water on both sides.
I'm going to say, hush now, Donnie. Don't you have work in the morning?
Donnie works in the morning.
Whereas Donnie just kind of laying in bed right now, trying to fall asleep, listening to our voices.
Yes, we are pretty boring.
Yeah.
I have actually had people comment that they will, when they can't sleep, they will put me on. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know whether to say thank you or that's kind of rude.
I put on people's stuff when I can't sleep, just because for me, I've got really bad tinnitus, so I need some sort of noise going while I'm trying to sleep because I always have that high pitch squealing in my ears. I know you have the same thing.
Yes, I was going to say, brother, I know exactly what you're dealing with.
Yeah. So lately, though, I got myself a new phone a couple weeks ago here, so now I've been using it with a app on there for the radio, and I just leave the radio playing really quietly at night.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's funny still to me that Andrea, sometimes she'll still go, is that too loud? And I'm like, nope.
I'm still waiting to hear back from Veterans Affairs on my hearing aids.
The ones to counteract?
Just regular hearing aids to start with, because I have lost hearing.
Speaking of which,
I'm supposed to check to get the tinnitus muffler thing in there.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I have, what was it? They gave me 5%. No, that's 10% disability due to my tinnitus. After they adjusted my baseline, and when they adjusted my baseline, the tech said, well, it's because your hearing was so good when you came in. I'm like, yeah, and you destroyed it. Exactly what Jeff said and what Don said. What? Huh?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, remember, I was in the artillery, so if you think back to the movie Good Morning Vietnam, where he's talking to the artillery guy, he's like, "I play anything, just play it loud, okay?"
Yeah. Say anything, just play it loud. The great thing about that movie is that 90%, well, the great thing about Robin Williams, end of story, was 90% of whatever he did was ad-libbed.
Yeah.
They tried to script him. It never worked.
Yeah, Donnie's got tinnitus too. Thanks, Nissan. Yeah.
Yeah. Mineral disease, I get vertigo. Oh, not good.
No, that's not good.
So Dash says, huh? What you say? People under 30 have hearing loss because of their phones. They do.
Yep.
I mean, it's funny because my phone always, when I turn up the phone for when I'm out mowing the yard, when I turn up my headphones, my phone always stops at one point and says, by the way, you could hurt your hearing. I'm like, yeah, thanks. Turn it up higher.
Yeah, no, it sucks having tinnitus, but I always say, you know what, I got it in service to my country, so I don't feel that bad about it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it because I listened to loud music as a teenager or anything like that.
No, I will be honest, I listened to loud music as a teenager too.
No, I did, but I didn't get tinnitus from it.
Yeah,
but I also like to joke and say I don't always listen to AC/DC, but when I do, so do my neighbors.
Yeah. Oh no. What's even worse is there was one time in college, my neighbors got to listen to Air Supply. All the racing and no earplug. That's the thing, is that you had to be in the Air Force on the flight line when they did this, when they sued 3M, you had to be on the flight line in 2005. I was no longer on the flight line in 2005.
Well, that sucked.
Oh, look and listen. Yeah, exactly, Dash. So I think we're going to call it a stream. Let's see. What's racing with all the racing with no earplugs? Yeah.
Yeah.
I did up at the Joliet Speedway when I was in Air Force Recruiting Services, first sergeant. We did security because they paid the squadron a certain amount of money for us to pretend to be security guards. We were just there. But I was there on day shift about a mile from the track, and I wore earplugs because when NASCAR goes round and round in circles, you don't hear it, you feel it.
Yeah. And not only just from the artillery, but also as a police officer, driving a police car going like flat out as fast as you physically can, then add in the sound of a siren going the whole time. And yeah, that doesn't do your hearing any good either.
Oh, yeah. So Jeff says most of his is loud drag racing and stock car races. He said he grew up by Edwards Air Force Base and loud SR-71. Absolutely. Turkey in the 90s during Operation Provide Comfort. I was on swing shift, and every morning the F-111s did a low flyby through my tent. At least that's what it sounded like. F-111s, you do not hear them anymore. You feel them when they take off. And what we used to say on the flight line was flipping pilots turning JP-8 into noise. So we're past 2 hours. Donnie wants me to go for 3. Not going to happen.
Don says to save it for tomorrow, though.
Yeah, there is tomorrow. Matter of fact, tomorrow we will be doing the Woody Wednesday. I'll be working on the 18th century armed longboat, as will, if Alex shows up, Don will be working on multiple things. Keith should be working on his bounty. Donnie should be showing up to work on his rocket train. Are you going to make it?
I'm going to try to, unless I end up sitting at my bench all day and get tired of sitting at my bench all day.
Yeah, I understand. So, yeah, it's going to be, should be maybe not a full house, but a lot of folks tomorrow for Woody Wednesday. Thursday, we will have Jordan on. I'm not sure what he's doing. Just a guess, I'm thinking he's probably going to be doing night shift, which means he'll be working on kit. Friday night, we'll have the normal stream. Saturday, we'll have Andrew on. Sunday afternoon, we'll have our normal stream. And then Monday, we will have Donnie on painting minis. So it's a full week of HTM every week. Hope everybody enjoyed the stream. I enjoy doing this with you guys, reading the chat. I love building on the stream. It's how I started my YouTube channel. Let's see what. Oh yeah, it's been a couple of days since I've done a actual outro. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, be notified of anytime I post new content. If you are not subscribed, please do. And if you're not on the stream right now, if you're watching the replay, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the wagon, what you think of my channel in general. You know, I love to get comments. I love to know what people are thinking of what we're doing here. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, Ken?
Thanks for the great stream, everyone.
All right. So take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And we'll see you on the next video or stream, the next one of which, of course, is tomorrow.